John Wick, excommunicado, in effect in 5.
In our world, there's a big portion of the population that are hired assassins.
4.
They're after him for the money.
3.
They're after him for committing the crimes he did.
2.
And there's also some freelance individuals that would like to take revenge on John for his past deeds.
1.
John kind of gets overwhelmed in chapter 3.
TikTok, Mr. Wick.
There's probably more action in Parabellum than there is in the 2 films combined.
I mean, I remember when I read the first spec script of John Wick, and I knew that audiences would immediately kind of latch on to a whole underbelly of assassins in a world we hadn't seen before.
It's nice to see him fight guys of similar skill, and there's more variety in this one.
I'm a huge film fan, a film buff. We've always talked about our influences, both Keanu and myself, from Sergio Leone to Akira Kurosawa to Tarkovsky to samurai films to some of the great Hong Kong films, and we try to just put these references for all the things we love. So you have a movie where a guy goes and kills north of 150 people over a puppy, fights ninjas, and shoots a lot of people in the head.
Chad had this idea that he wanted to bring in ninjas.
But we didn't want to call them ninjas because the John Wick fight ninja sounds a little weird. So character's name is Zero, is played by Mark Dacascos.
We were looking for who could play Zero, and Chad thought of Mark Dacascos, who has a profound martial arts background and action movie background and experience.
And I have to confess that before I actually saw John Wick, a friend of mine, Michael Stratford, he said, "You've got to watch these movies. I think you're gonna like this." Cut to months later, and I'm part of it. Oh, I wish I could tell you that Chad called me up and I had 8 months of rehearsals and practice and training. I did not. I literally got a text from Chad on a Sunday night. It said, "Call me as soon as you wake up." So on Monday morning, I call him up. Chad is very cryptic. And I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, our original lead villain is out, and I would like to invite you to be him." I read the script. It's great. It's great. So I call him back up. I said, "Chad, I would absolutely love to be a part of this. When would you like me out there?" He says, "Can you come tonight?"
Mark came in, and then he started to play with the role, and in rehearsals, this character of Zero came to life. Zero is actually a fan of John Wick's and is really looking forward to being the one who will kill him.
I gotta tell you, I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. I'm a huge fan, and so far you haven't disappointed.
Nobody else in his mind is worthy of that. Nobody else loves John Wick more than Zero. So it should be Zero who takes John Wick out. He feels like he's on par with John. His style, his grace, his class, his efficiency, how brutal and violent he is, but still a gentleman.
Only by my blade, John.
Zero is a shinobi, a ninja warrior, and he loves martial arts so much that he has students. He cares for his students like children. He loves his students. He wants to pass on the skills that he has, because that's what people that have the artistry and skill and talent as himself do.
When Chad was thinking of Zero's students who could become the ninja or shinobi, it was like, let's reach out to Yeon and Chep, who, I came exposed to in the raid.
I'm Yayan Ruhian.
My name is Cecep Arif Rahman. My background is pencak silat.
Pencak silat is sometimes like dancing, sometimes like
hard,
sometimes so soft.
We have the Japanese arts as a base, but because of fighting and killing all over the world, we take whatever is useful to us and we incorporate that into our style. So the shinobi, our clan, specialize in camouflage, in covert operations. You don't see us unless we want to be seen. We can fold in and out of people and furniture.
We love the theory of dance and dance choreography, which is very influential in our stunt choreography. So you'll see the actual New York City Ballet performing for us in this, and we choreograph in parallel or in reference, almost a physical metaphor for what they do. And that's why our sequences look the way they do.
Chad really has a great respect for ballet and the physicality and the athleticism of it. And I think because he was, a stunt person himself, so he understands what it takes to kind of choreograph those sequences.
Then we put ninjas in. We'll back it up for like the last, whatever we need lead in, and we'll work with the dancers a little bit of timing for them to walk through them. And then when we get all that timed out, clear the dancers, let ninja guys come out.
I think that ballet is such a good match for anything that's intense, tougher than it looks, and not for the faint of heart. I think it's so challenging, and what we do and what we portray is something so stunning and beautiful and effortless. But the work behind it, which is awesome that you're seeing this side of ballet, is the part that I think really does vibe really well with the John Wick world.
We've hinted at other gangs in the Bowery King's army. It's been fun because they are the antithesis of the High Table, and the High Table is comfortable in their power because they've had it for so long, but they don't understand the power that the quote-unquote dregs actually wield.
Long live the king. The world of the Bowery is run by myself, the Bowery King, and there's been a truce in existence between these two worlds, that they will coexist, that they will cooperate, that they will not encroach upon each other's territory, that they will basically abide by the collective rules set by the High Table.
The Bowery King explains in the second movie, nobody looks at the homeless. The homeless are invisible. And so they are allowed to operate and move within the city unnoticed.
I'm a huge fan of Westerns, and I like the standoffs. That's why you hear the Western cues. I love duels. I think duels are cool mano-a-mano stuff. It fits very well in our world. In our world, there's a twisted code of honor and dueling and how they have to respect each other when you're that good of an assassin. In number 2, we went to Italy, and then we figured, well, what's an older culture? We decided, okay, let's go the Arabic route.
Welcome to Casablanca, Mr. Wick. Thanks.
Well, it's fun because it harkens back to the oldest of the old while adopting the gadgets of the new. And we love the marriage of those two. Chad is very specific with the various fighting styles, and they are much more unintimidated as they face John than anyone else. And at first you might think their over-aggression is foolish, but in reality, it's what actually pins John down. He's not used to firefighting fire, which I think Chad wanted to do and did quite well.
I can give you one last chance to earn a life.
I will be of service.
The cost of your life will be the death of others.
The Ghost Recon is basically the High Table's version of the Special Forces. So when these guys come in, it's like, oh, the best of the best. So actually the hardest ones for Wick and the Continental guys to deal with.
They are played by this incredible stunt acting hybrid team, and just watching them work was extraordinary. It is like watching athletes or dancers who are at the top of their profession performing. So it was really great that the adjudicator gets to sort of go in, dole out punishment, and then, go back and have their tea or Netflix and chill or whatever it is that the adjudicator does in their off time while, this Ghost Recon team are out taking care of business.
I need more firepower.
The Ghost Recon are those out there who are unintimidated by John, by heaven or hell. These are the faceless denizens, and yet they are an extension of what the High Table truly is. Because when you see the face of the High Table, they're understanding, but the Ghost Recon of it all is their soul.
Do what you do best. What's that? Hunt.
All 3 films are about consequence. Do bad things happen to you. So there's really no way for the character to pull out of the dive. John may have succeeded in this hump. He may have dealt with these set of circumstances that surround him for the film. So there's no riding to the sunset, there's no happy ending. There's happy moments, there's funny moments. But at the end of that, he's still fucked.
How do you feel? You pissed John? Yeah.